So what's going on, guys? I thought I'd do another blog with you guys. So the plan is to go shoot some time-lapse and some product review videos and some other stuff out at this place called Painted Rocks, which is a man-made lake, but it's supposed to be pretty beautiful up there. I haven't been there yet. So, and hopefully the iPhone vlogging will be a little bit better today. I've got a little setup so that you guys can actually see me a little bit better. I mean, if you can see that, or if you can see, I've got a little iPhone hookup, and then I did a review on the monopod that I'm using. It's a little extendable monopod. And if you guys would like to see a link to that, so you guys can go check out the monopod I'm using, we'll put something up on the screen for you there. So anyways, about to leave the house, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning now, and I don't know, it's gonna be a fun little day, and I'll try to explain some stuff. Maybe we'll go over some time-lapse theory and stuff like that later on today. So we'll catch up with you a little bit later. All right, guys, so I've gotten to the spot that I'm gonna end up shooting the time-lapse at, which is gonna be somewhere in this man-made lake here. It's called Painted Rocks. I'm probably gonna end up shooting back in this general direction. I will explain that to you a little bit later on. As well, we've got some local wildlife, and it is raining a little bit, but the cameras are weather resistant, like the T3i, so it's kind of more of a mist sprinkle, so my camera will be able to handle being out in this weather. Now, if it starts pouring here soon, then we may have an issue. And then there's some goats here. Let's see if we can pull up a little bit. I was getting some shots of them, but I didn't get one I think I really liked. They keep moving right as I'm about to snap the shot I want. So let's creep up just real slowly like and see what happens. Oh, they're gonna move. So, now stop. They might stop. Anyways, I think it's some form of I think it's like a mountain goat or something like that. So I'm going to, well, do a circle around this whole entire area, figure out where I want to shoot, and that's what I'm going to go do. And we'll talk some more about some time-lapse and other things that are going on. All right, guys, so I'm at a spot that maybe you decide you want to take a time-lapse one day, and you're like, oh, this looks like a good spot. And I'm going to kind of give you guys a couple things, or explain a couple things to you guys why not just any spot is good for a time-lapse. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over here, and we'll focus up on this. So as you guys can see, it's not a bad little spot. You got a mountain right there, a little hill. You've got the lake sitting right here, and you know, you could use a wide-angle lens and kind of catch all that. So one thing that you're looking for, though, is that depth of field. You've got this mountain way back here, you know, but other than that, it just kind of falls off, and it's just clouds. Now, if you notice, it's really overcast today. So the issue there would be, one, you're not going to see a bunch of cloud movement, a little bit. And the lake's frozen over, so you're not going to get a lot of movement from there. And then I believe this is a road out here, so you're going to probably get cars flying by, which you don't really want. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to keep looking for a better spot. And then once I get there, I'm going to explain to you why this is going to be a better spot than just any old spot. So getting the right spot and the right angle are huge to getting the proper time-lapse from what I understand. Again, guys, doing time-lapse on a more professional, higher-end level is very new to me. I've spent the last month doing a crap load of research and watching all kinds of videos. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Gunther. He's the guy that invented or came up with the software called FLICKR time-lapse, which is what you will use if you want to get kind of that higher end time-lapse. It's a great piece of software, and it works with Lightroom, and it really makes things easier, and I pretty much couldn't live without it. So that gentleman, Gunther, as well, he's from Germany, he put out an ebook, and I've been reading his ebook as well. Vincent Lefray, if you guys know who that is, big time photographer. He has a couple help videos that he did through Canon, and he's helped me out with some ideas of things. So I'm going by what I've read and learned, and a little bit of personal experience. But my experience at the higher end of time-lapse and doing it properly is very minimal. So I will do my best to show you guys what I've learned today. I don't want to give away too much information because I kind of feel like it's unfair to Gunther. He gave me his ebook, so I'm not going to be giving away all of his secrets, because those are his secrets that I've learned that he pretty much gave me in exchange for helping promote his product, because I really do believe that he has the best time-lapse product on the market as of right now, and his ebook really is quite helpful. Anyways, enough promotion for that at the moment. We're going to keep driving down this little dirt road right here, and see if we can't find a spot. I've already found one spot I really like, which I'll show you guys maybe a little bit later if that's where I end up shooting. But I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna drive all the way around. There's a road all the way around this little lake, and what I'm gonna do is see if I can find a better spot. If not, we're gonna go back to the original spot I think I found, and we'll do that. And it's still kind of chilly up here. As you can see, we've got snow still up here, so that kind of sucks. So I'll catch back up with you guys a little bit later. Ooh, hit some ice. So I believe I have found the first spot that I want to shoot at. I'd like to do multiple spots. So I'm going to show it to you here and kind of explain why I like this spot. Let's go on and try to focus it in. Sorry about that, iPhone's horrible focus. So we've got a nice wide look at the river here. We have a mountain here. We've got a mountain right there, as you guys can see, and then another one right behind it as well. We've got one over here. We got a pretty good view of all the clouds. Now there's a little discoloration. You can see where it's kind of lighter here. We've got darker, and we've got kind of a really dark, like over in this general vicinity. So there's going to be a lot going on in the shot, and that's kind of what you want. You want some depth of field. So as you can see, before we just had this as a depth of field. We need more than that. We need a more narrow or wider look, but where you can actually look. So a lot more is going to be going on. I've never shot in a completely overcast day like today, so I don't know how it's going to work. But the clouds are moving, so I think it should come out pretty cool. And it's probably, probably going to do about 400 shots, which is around 11 to 13 seconds for 400 shots. And I think I'm going to shoot every 10 seconds is what I'm going to shoot for. And kind of take a look at how that looks. The cool thing is I brought my laptop out with me, so I'll actually be able to do some basic editing as I move from spot to spot, because when you're doing a time-lapse, you're going to have a lot of free time sitting there. Now, at the same time, you don't need to ignore your time-lapse. Like, you need to be constantly looking at it, making sure there's any light changes or other things that are happening. If you just kind of just put a camera there and do a time-lapse, you'll get an okay time-lapse probably. But if you really want to take your time-lapse to the next level, you really need to be monitoring your pictures as you're taking them. As well, how long is it going to take for your batteries to die? If I have 2 batteries in my Canon T3i, I'm getting about between 160 to 175 pictures for 2 batteries. So I know that about every hour to hour and a half, I got to switch out my batteries, or it's going to die, and then I could get a gap of lost pictures. So I know that I need to be keep an eye on my camera at least probably every 15 minutes, if not sooner. So time-lapse is not one of those things where you just leave it there and you let it do its thing, unless you've got something like DSLR dashboard, where it's kind of being able to meter or monitor the lighting situation, and it will change. Again, though, you still need to be around to change out your batteries. When your batteries are dead, your batteries are dead. There's no automatic, no setup. You could probably get some external batteries that will last longer. I'm trying to think what else. We'll go over some more stuff later on. I'm trying to throw in a lot of information into this blog for you guys without giving away too much information from the ebook. So I'm going to set up the camera, and we're going to do our first little time lapse here. As well, I'm going to be shooting right on a road. So as you guys can see, there's a road. Probably no one's going to be coming out today. It's kind of nasty. Another thing you need to monitor, I'm going to be monitoring, if it starts pouring, I need to grab my camera and put it up. Right now, it's drizzling, it's kind of sprinkling, so my camera can handle a little bit. My camera can definitely handle that. But, if people are going to pull into the road, I don't want them not paying attention and running my camera over, and boom, I've lost thousands of dollars worth of equipment. So I need to be monitoring and paying attention to that. And another thing is, I've got my car pretty close to where I'm going to be shooting, so I'll be able to sit in here, read a book, keep warm, keep thinking straight. I tend, if I stood out there, it's kind of chilly. If I had to stand out there for hours on end, and sometimes you do, I don't think as straight when I'm really cold, because half of my brain's thinking I'm freezing here, and the other half's like, you need to focus and get this shot. And that's what makes one of many things that makes a good photographer or videographer, a good videographer, that they can put up with that colder weather or uncomfortable weather. Another thing that I did not mention, there's a road over here, way back here. If you could kind of see that bare spot, there's a road right below it. I don't think cars passing by are going to get too much involved. Earlier when we were over in this general direction over here, shooting across like that, you might catch some cars. But over here, I'm hopefully not going to catch so many cars, because I really don't want any car movement in my shots. As well, I'll be shooting with the T3i. Now, people that do follow me may know that I also have a Mark II, 5D Mark II. So why would I want to shoot with the T3i over the Mark II? My biggest reason is I don't want to put a lot of actions in my Mark II if I can help it. The T3i is going to be able to get, shooting raw, and we always want to shoot raw when it comes. We want to shoot raw, and we want to shoot manual just about every single time. We always want to shoot raw. Most times we want to shoot manual. Probably 90% of the time you want to shoot manual when you're doing a time-lapse. So I'm going to put a lot of actions on my Mark II, and it's going to get used a lot more in that aspect, where my T3i is kind of my workhorse, and the T3i is still going to be able to get a very high-end professional level time-lapse if done correctly. If you get on YouTube and probably type in T3i time lapses, there'll be some crappy ones, but there'll be some nice ones out there, and you'll be like, wow, it can be done. You really can get a nice time lapse with the T3i. So anyways, I'm going to set up and get started, and I guess I'll come back at you a little bit later. This is maybe a 1 or 2 part blog. It's really long, and I'm sorry, but just trying to throw some information at you guys and kind of just take you through my day, because today is a production day where we're just going to be shooting and working pretty much from 8 o'clock in the morning and upwards, maybe 3 to 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. I don't know when I'll be done. So I apologize if I'm a little out of focus. Let's try to focus me in. The camera, you got to do like the double tap, and I can't see because I'm using the, I guess, the better camera on the iPhone, which is the one on the back. So I've got the time lapse going here. And as you can see, I've got a grid set up. You can turn that on under info when you're set up to manual. That helps me get a good rule of thirds. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight on settings. I'm not going to give too many away right here again, because I got a lot of my setting knowledge off this ebook. So if you do want to check out the ebook, there will be a link down below, and you guys can go check that out. Gunther did a really good job about it. And I don't really ever promote anybody unless I'm really seriously, I really like them. I've had companies offer me money to promote their products, and I don't like their products, so I don't promote it. That's something I've always stood behind, or hopefully you guys can stand behind with me, is that I try to be as honest as I possibly can when it comes to equipment and knowledge and stuff. So things to think of: you're going to want the lowest ISO possible, as well. Far as white balance is concerned, preset the white balance. Do not do auto white balance. Do not take automatic shots. You want to preset everything in the manual mode if possible, the M mode. It's actually gotten really chilly out here. And another thing you need to be paying attention to is light change. It could be sunny in the next 10 minutes. The clouds could disperse and be sunny. So that means I need to be on my camera or jumping over my camera because I'm paying attention to change settings to neutralize that light coming in, so that the time lapse has a very nice seamless look to it when you actually put it together in the editor. Yeah, it's got to be a good like 20 degrees out here right now. So the clouds are moving down there. So before, about 5 minutes ago, you couldn't even see that far out. Let's see if we can zoom in, and you can notice there's the one ridge here, and then we have another ridge up here, which is completely two different little hills or mountains. Before you couldn't see it. The clouds have been moving in and out, so that will be part of the time lapse. You'll be able to see it for some part of the time lapse and other parts of the time lapse. And then these time lapse videos that I'm putting together, you guys have seen these little blogs that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing one big time lapse video probably within the next 2 or 3 months. That's why I'm not putting out these little time lapse videos, because I want to make one big 5-minute long music, some other cool stuff, thrown in there. So I'm working on that to show you guys, but that's going to be a couple months out. It's going to take me a while to get all those time lapses as I have time. I guess I'm going to head back to the car and kind of just wait in the car, maybe read a book for a little bit, keep an eye on the lighting, jump over, check out the battery situation every so often. The biggest thing for me with time lapses, you've got to be aware and got to be paying attention to it at all times, in a manner of speaking.